gentle. So let me say that to begin with. And this is Carrie Cassidy from Project Camelot. And today is Monday, let's see, May 14th. And I am here with Ramona and Mihai. I'm not sure how you say your names very well. So are you both from Romania or are you from different places?
Yes, I am from Romania and she's also from Romania.
Okay. And you are involved in a yoga, I don't know if you call it a clinic or a workshop or organization.
A school.
A school. Okay. And you've been having some problems with the school for some reason, right?
Yes.
Okay. So why don't you first introduce yourselves one at a time and tell a little bit about yourself, how you got involved in you know the organization, et cetera, and then we will I will ask questions to get into the story as to what's going on over there. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So why don't do you want to start, Ramona?
Yes, I can talk here. I'm practicing yoga in the school for almost 20 years, and it's a school that has really big value, like in knowledge, awareness. It's a yoga school, traditional teachings, and it has helped me a lot and many other people in all these years. And what I found out all along these years is that, especially in Romania, also during the this spiritual movement was like forbidden or something anyway, threatened, and people that were practicing it, even if most of them are intellectual, they were having problems after only joining the courses. There were many makeups, and it's something like you are probably having problems if you say that you practice yoga. And then it's a long story that Mihai will tell you. I mean, he's much more involved in this. And so
okay.
Shortly for now, yeah.
All right. Mihail, however you say your name, I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing it. You can also turn on your video because you do have video, correct?
I think I turned it on. I thought I turned it on.
Okay. Looks like it's not on at the moment.
Just a second. Yeah, I don't see the button for video anymore. Now we are on this conference.
Yes. Okay. Well, I'm not sure what to do about that. Okay. Well, it may be because we called in Ramona.
I think, yeah, the conference might not allow the video, because I saw the video starting, and when you called Ramona, it disappeared.
Okay. So what we'll do is just use the audio then for this.
Yes.
Well, for this presentation. So Mihail, can you tell a little bit about yourself and what the situation is with regard to the organization and what's going on there?
Yes. So first of all, my name is Mihai Stoian. This is how you spell it in Romanian. So I started it within this yoga school in 1989, and as a profession, I am formed as a scientific researcher in first in nuclear technology, and then I specialized in artificial intelligence. This is my background, but of course I also studied yoga, tantra, and I'm teaching since 1993 already. I'm teaching yoga. So this I did parallel with the other activities in university and in the scientific field where I was working. Currently I'm living in Copenhagen since 2002, and I'm coordinating a yoga school here in Copenhagen, which is in fact a sister school with the one in Romania. And the situation with this yoga school from Romania is, in fact, what I would call signaling factor for some underground phenomena which happen in the society generally. Maybe not only in Romania. We have some clear indications that it's not only in Romania what we have encountered there. So very few know that in the communist time, before 1989, in Romania yoga was forbidden. Since 1982, it was a law, and during the time, everybody who would practice yoga or karate or anything which is this Oriental spirituality would be put in jail. And then
Well,
at that time,
that seems very strange.
well, it is very strange, and actually it has some relevance for the story, because you see, the communists were afraid of, conspirations. They were afraid of all kinds of things, but it's very strange that at a certain point they were afraid of yoga. And that reveals, in fact, a kind of other force, which was, even in the communist time, behind the screen, so to speak, or behind the stage. And this force was, in fact, what we call the occult power. That was behind the communism and also afraid of anyone who will try to, let's say, study spirituality, to free the mind of people, and so on. All these aspects were kind of regarded with great fear by the authorities at that time. And they went so far as to put in 1982 a law against these kind of practices, and many people were put in jail because of practicing yoga, because of being in a martial art club, things like that. And my teacher, about which we will talk a little later, he is the one who was actually put in jail several times by the communists because of what they say at the time. He was trying to kill Ceausescu, the communist dictator of Romania at that time, with paranormal powers.
Ah, okay.
So that was one of the things which can already put a kind of question mark upon this, intentions of the communist regime. Then also he was the only person in Romania during the communist regime who escaped the Securitate. Securitate was the name of the secret police during the communist regime, and it was very fierce in Romania and quite famous in Europe, the Romanian secret service of the communist regime. And once when he was arrested, he escaped this special arrest, this special building the regime has at the time, using some yogic methods that he was applying at the time. It's the only case of a person managing to escape the secret police. And,
Okay, now what year was this?
This was 1987.
Okay, and at that time when he escaped using, as you say, special powers,
Yeah.
And this is your teacher?
Yes, he's my teacher. His name is Gregorian Bivolaru.
Okay, is there evidence of this? In other words, documentation, other kinds of evidence?
Yeah, there are some testimonies about this. Plus, one of the, indirect but quite obvious evidence was that he, afterwards, when he himself went to the authorities after a while, because he did this gesture just as a protest. He didn't have anywhere to run away, actually, because Romania was surrounded in this communist bloc. and he just wanted to protest against the fact that he was illegally arrested and so on. And he was tried after that for escaping the arrest of the secret police. So practically, he is also at the time a juridical paradox, because he was in prison for the fact that he escaped the prison. But there is absolutely no explanation why he was in prison.
Okay.
So we have this documented very well. We have the whole file, which is, as I said, the juridical paradox. He is the only person.
Is this on the internet anywhere?
I will put here, yes, it is on gregoriandivolaru.com. I can write it on.
Okay,
down.
well, you can send it to me after, but yes, if you want to type it in there, you can as well. And then I'll make it visible for people to see. Okay, so, so is your teacher still in prison?
No, of course, after 1989, he was released, and apparently things got better for a little while, but the system continued, which gave us more and more reasons to believe. In the beginning, to believe. Now we are very sure, because we have encountered the system, that in fact there is much more than just the communist regime which was installed in Romania, and then it failed in 1989. So the occult power remained in power. Only the social organization changed, and we became a democratic country, but still the same people, almost the same people, were holding key positions, and also the transfer of power is done in ways which actually we don't find only in Romania.
Yes, I understand. Okay,
Yes.
very good. Well, let me say that this individual trying to escape from, was it a prison in Romania? Was it a prison in Russia?
No, it was in Romania, in Bucharest.
Okay.
It was the most secure location of the country.
Okay, and what exactly did he do?
Well, he practically put the guards in the suggestion to take him out from the cell and bring him to the to a place where you have this ventilation for the, from time to time prisoners are taken out to
Outdoors.
a small place to walk around there.
I see.
And at that place, he also suggested the guards to leave him alone and to leave the door open, which they did. And he went through that to a place where the other people who were cleaning there, they were leaving a stair on the wall. And he climbed that stair, and then he went, over some walls or something, and after that he went out. It was just a very simple place to went out. Now, I know this story, of course, directly from him, and what he was explaining was that, in fact, the exercise he was doing was a powerful exercise of suggestion, combined with an exercise of searching the vicinity of the prison, because he couldn't know where exactly will be the stair, where the wall is possible to go over, and so on. So he investigated that in a certain way of remote viewing.
Sure.
And after that, he prepared all this very, very well. So he executed it in 2 minutes or something, the whole thing, and off he went.
Okay, very good. All right. So then, was at this time that he did this, was, I guess, yoga was being still banned?
Yeah, it wasn't. Yoga was officially banned between 1982 and 1989. Okay. This event happened in 1987.
Okay.
In the middle of the persecutions and while the communist regime was starting to give severe signs of decay.
Okay. Very, very, very interesting. All right. And so this is news to me, actually, that yoga was against the law in Romania for all those years.
It's the only country in the world who had a law.
Okay, interesting. Okay, so then what happened? When did your organization start up?
So now, of course, the organization illegally started in the communist time, but legally in 1990, in January, the organization officially went out, so to speak, and it became the Movement for Spiritual Integration into the Absolute. That was the name of the organization at the time, of this school. And it was organized as a school with classes, with teacher training courses, with acknowledged teachers, with diplomas and everything, but of course not by the state. This acknowledgement is internal because the state is not participating except problems.
I see.
So then, of course, the situation started immediately after 1990 to deteriorate. Of course, the new method of the authorities was slander and practically using the media, which in many countries, former communist countries, is still in the hands of big guys or big organizations. And in Romania, the media is owned by the state because of the debts they have. Most of the big media companies, they have immense debts to the state. So in this way, they started to write all kind of strange articles. During the next few years, this individual, Gregorian, plus the school that was growing extremely fast, was accused of anything you can imagine, from paramilitary organization to human sacrifices on full moon, and of course drugs and the other things are common. And no one ever proved anything. So there were just thousands and thousands of articles and TV news until the point where simply the people who were practicing yoga, they were ashamed to say that they are practicing yoga because simply they were afraid that they can be beaten on the street or something. So it was a bit. Plus, of course, this was not only media. In moments like 1996, for instance, masked police, anti-terror, these masked guys, they rush into a yoga hall where over 300 people were practicing, and they pretended it was somehow a problem with stealing some computers or something, and they depicted all the people in the yoga room as criminals. Of course, they didn't apologize afterwards, saying that it was a mistake. They beat some people, and in 1996, Amnesty International issued a part of their East Europe report was about this incident. For instance, just to give you an example of kind of events. So the story was continuing, and actually it started to build up more and more social tension, and even the lies that different organizations, governmental organizations, were saying about the movements were bigger and bigger. For instance, Mr. Gregorian Vivoraro was called in the parliament as Satan incarnated.
Okay, and why was he called this?
Because that respective parliamentarian was very angry that he was not listened by the rest of the people to put Gregorian and every yogi directly in jail without any other, investigation and so on. It was a kind of witch hunt.
I see. And this went on during what years?
From 1992 until 2004.
Okay.
With some peaks, as I said, 96, 97 again, some abuses, people beaten and so on.
Incredible.
And so on. In 2000, 2001, and then 2004, it was kind of the explosion where the Romanian authorities triggered what they called at that time the biggest operation against organized crime. And they went on, they arrested people, they confiscated people's goods from the houses, and they did, a lot of abuses, immense many. It's very difficult to name everything now.
Okay, but was it again, or were they after practitioners of yoga and other kinds of Eastern mysticism, remote viewing, this sort of thing?
Well, actually, here is the, let's say, tricky part of this story. You see, even in the communist time, even though if yoga was forbidden, and Grigorian Bivularo and other practitioners were in jail, the communist style was that they never admitted political involvement of any case. So every time they wrap everything in some common criminal things. They frame you with anything. Of course, at that time it was much easier to frame people. Nowadays, they also frame them. So, with other words, except some media stories and so on, officially it was never an accusation that you are practicing yoga or that you are doing some, I don't know, things which can give you paranormal powers or something. No, they were constantly trying to insinuate all kinds of stories, as I mentioned before. So now, for instance, just to give an example, when they raid many houses in the same morning and take people's goods with trucks and beat people and so on, they were saying that they have a kind of a report that at these locations people are breaking the copyright law.
Okay.
Which is absolutely absurd. I mean, first of all, just try to read on the internet, see where Romania stands in the copyright law. I mean, it's probably one of the countries champion in breaking the copyright law in any sense, probably with India and other Russia. So such an operation is an absurdity in itself. But they put it, we have the papers which were signed by judges, and the papers which the prosecutors were trying to excuse that activity. Of course, the strange thing is that when they came also together with all the media, and the media didn't report any word about copyright. They were speaking about organized crime, of trafficking human beings, of selling weapons, drug dealing, and all kinds of things.
Okay, but in reality, what had these people done wrong? Anything?
Well, they were doing something terribly wrong in the eyes of these people. They were part of this yoga school.
They were practicing yoga.
Yeah, they were yoga practitioners, and you see, it started to happen among the yoga practitioners in this school that they were in time grouping together 2, 3, 5 people in different locations. They were building a kind of a replica of what is in India called ashrams.
Yes.
If you heard about this notion of an ashram,
yes.
Well, they were trying, of course, that yoga is coming as a tradition from India, and many practitioners are studying also the traditional integration of yoga in the daily life. And they were trying to have such spiritual communities. And the police was raiding, especially these locations where, people were, most of them, not all of them, most of them yoga practitioners. So that was what they have in common. And of course, they tried also, they were storming Gregorian's house. They destroyed absolutely everything there. We have pictures how the house was looking before and how the apartment, not the house, but it was an apartment, was looking afterwards. And you see, that's what
Okay.
they were trying to impress him. Of course, they tried this before. In 1995, in February, after Gregorian was publishing 2 books about the Freemasonry, and he's the first one in Romania who was talking openly about this and the occult power and so on. He published that in December 1994, and in February 1995, he was threatened by the representatives of this occult power in Romania to stop, and he was given a lesson. And the lesson consisted into a bomb which was placed in his apartment, and of course not only destroyed the apartment, but destroyed almost the entire building. Of course, we have 2 independent investigations from 2 commissions which were saying that the explosion was man-made. It was not an accident, as of course all the media reported. They all reported that it was an explosion from a gas leak in the building. But interesting enough, his apartment was the one exploding, and the rest of the building was affected by the explosion. And the expertise from 2 independent commissions has concluded, and we have these reports, of course, that it was an explosion provoked by purpose, by someone who placed their quantity of substance. And,
I see. Okay. Now, when you're talking about these raids that are happening, they're happening now as well, is what you're saying?
Well, actually, since 2004, the situation went a little strange, because the raids stopped in that form, violent form. Also because the international, especially European attention turned towards this case. And Mr. Bivolaru was granted political asylum in Sweden. And he's the only one now enjoying political asylum, being a citizen of a member country, having political asylum in another member country of European Union. And it's a topic which even the Swedish politicians don't want to raise or to talk about, because it gives headaches to everyone when they try to understand how is it possible in the European Union to have a citizen which is enjoying political asylum in the European Union. But
okay, but the person who is getting a political asylum is who?
Is Mr. Bivolaru, Gregorian Bivolaru.
Oh, really? Okay. So
yes,
your teacher is now he has political asylum in Europe.
In Sweden, yes.
In Sweden. Okay, fine.
Exactly.
Now, okay.
Yes.
So,
No,
but when did these raids start? And because you contacted me recently, so what is going on now? Well,
what is going on now is the conclusion of what started in 2004.
Okay.
So, seeing that they practically lost the chance to get Mr. Bivolaru, they requested extradition in Romania, and the Swedish state refused. And the reason was that his life will be endangered in Romania, and he will not receive a fair trial. That was the conclusion of the Supreme Court in Stockholm. Since then, of course, they were trying to prove that this was not happening and so on. So practically there were no violences except minor things which, well, they didn't exceed a certain limit. What is happening now is that in the court, the files that they have started in 2004 against Mr. Bivolaru and against many other yoga teachers and the school, they are, until now, they were kind of following their juridical procedures, and now they find that they reached to a conclusion after almost 8 years. And they started it again with maneuvers to obtain an official, let's say, paper or to obtain a decision of the court that will incriminate either Mr. Bivolaru or the school. So, of course, these maneuvers in the beginning, they were very light and it didn't work. Under the international pressure, we came, for instance, the European Union sent observers to some of the trials of Mr. Bivolaru and MISA to Bucharest.
Oh, I see.
But even though that this happened, and two courts declared in one of the files, because there were more files, in one of the files repeatedly declared Mr. Bivolaru innocent, when the most severe part of the penal code, which is saying the fact incriminated doesn't exist, so it's not that decision which is saying not enough evidences or something. They were concluding the fact incriminated doesn't exist. So even though the court decided two times this, now the Supreme Court started to bring in all kinds of strange, for instance, papers from the secret police, which were completely strange and manufactured, obviously, changing the judges, doing maneuvers which we got used with, signaling that in this moment they are desperately trying to get him or someone from the school convicted.
Okay,
so
and this is happening since when?
Well, this is happening since March.
March of this year, 2012.
This year, 2012.
Okay.
And since March also is happening that more than 50 European parliamentarians were sending to Bucharest letters of protest signed personally to the Prime Minister and to the Minister of Justice of Romania to, of course, to bring attention into this case. And interesting, the Romanian media and the Romanian authorities, who otherwise they are very pro-European, didn't mention anything about this, I would say, immense attention from the European Union. I mean, 50 European parliamentarians to send letters to Bucharest is a big event for a country like Romania. Huge.
Okay.
And you cannot find any, not even one line in the media, even though we have the letters. I mean, there is no doubt about that. You can speak with the parliamentarians who signed the letters and so on. I mean, it's something which is not debatable.
Okay.
So,
now let me ask you something. Have you ever heard of this person named Radu Sinemar?
Yes.
Okay. And are you aware of what is called the Romanian Sphinx?
Yeah, not only that I am aware, I've been doing research in that area.
Okay, well, I have part of the reason I have you on the air here with me, and I'm going to see if I can get this to show up on the screen here, and I'm not sure how this will work, but I will try it. So, are you able to see this right now? Maybe not, huh? I'm putting this on. I'm holding the book up to my camera here on.
Oh, because I lost the video connection. I told you.
Oh, all right. Yes. Okay. Well, this is called. It was sent to me by Peter Moon, somebody I've interviewed. He's a publisher who has been to Romania, and he has co-edited this book along with this person Radu Sinemar. And it is all about the Romanian Sphinx, but it is about a discovery that happened in Romania recently, I guess in the last few years, actually, and that the American government is very involved in, which has to do with a special secret, well, you might call it a cavern, or that's put in under the ground in this mountain.
Yeah.
The mountain is on the picture here. I
know it very well because I've been there several times, and I even collected evidences about this.
Okay, very good. So, are you familiar with the person who goes by the name in the book of Caesar? I don't know if that's his real name.
Well, not with that person. I don't know who is that person. The real identity of Caesar. I
Okay.
know for a fact that the zero department of the
Yes.
secret police exists. I know directly this information from somebody there, and also I have encountered different different phenomena which is described by Radu Cinamar in his book.
Okay. And so does, just out of curiosity, does your teacher also know about this?
Yes, he is one of the people who were actually raising a lot of questions, and actually he was telling a lot of aspects related not only to that particular secret, but also to many other things which were taking place in Romania, similar to this one.
Okay. Looks like we lost Ramona. And I'm going to try to see if I can get to get some information up here. I'm going to search for it so I can put the book up here.
Yeah.
Well, so people can see what we're talking about here. The reason I'm bringing this up during this interview is that I know that you are in Romania, and I thought perhaps you might know about this very secret project, and it has to do with time travel, but it has also got a lot to do with altered states of mind, and and things like remote viewing and so on. And there is this is a very important project that has to do with this discovery in, as I said, this mountain in Romania. And do you know the name of the mountain?
Well, the chain mountains there is called Bucegi. I spell it here. Yeah.
Okay, and I just want to let everyone know that Peter Moon has a website, and I'm actually trying to see if we can get more information about this right now. So if you want to hold on 1 minute.
Yes.
I'm trying to enlarge this picture. I don't know if it's going to work, but here, for the viewers to see. Hold on 1 second. Peter Moon is somebody who has been very involved in the Montauk Project as well, and also with information to do with time travel. David Anderson and many other aspects of time travel that were involved in the Montauk Project and more. So the reason, again, I'm bringing this up, though, because I am curious that you're saying that there is a crackdown on yoga, and as you say, it's escalating, or it seems to be escalating, and this is why you contacted me at this time, right?
Yes.
And
but it also has to do with these paranormal elements,
right,
that these people from the occult power, they're not interested in any way to be studied, for the people to be interested into, and so on. And
right.
The link is very correct that you made.
Well, yes, they are very concerned about this, but there's a reason for that, and it has to do, I believe, it has to something to do with this discovery, in which they realize the danger in people obtaining these paranormal powers, and that they are no longer going to be controllable. And this has many implications for the world, as a matter of fact, for freedom around the world, and not just in Romania. So I wanted to bring it up. Can you tell us anything that you have learned about this installation, which is quite stupendous? I do know that I'm reading this book, and the United States government, on a very top secret level, got very involved with the Romanian government and actually they went in with special technology to open up these caverns, because it was originally closed off in the mountain. And that on top of it, they revealed this device, which is in there. And you can appreciate that this is the implications for the world are very, very huge. On top of it, apparently, they discovered the same kind of a device in a very secret place in Iraq. And this is why, one of the major reasons they invaded Iraq, as a matter of fact. And what happened was that when this device in this mountain was activated, by this individual who called himself Caesar, or and partially by the opening of the cavern, I believe. Then there was a corresponding activation that happened in the one in Iraq at the same time. And there was a hologram that emerged, and on the hologram in Iraq showed the Romanian Sphinx, the area inside that mountain. It showed that device in Iraq, on that hologram in Iraq, which is heavily guarded by U.S. military. So I'm just I'm connecting the dots here for people, but this persecution of the yoga and people that are following sort of a spiritual path, because one of the things that happens when you follow a spiritual path is you, especially through yoga and various disciplines of this kind, having to do with exploring the higher mind, what you do is you raise your vibration.
Yes, exactly.
And what that does is it's quite obvious to me that this device that they've discovered also is a sort of there's a sort of portal or frequency gate in which people can enter, but you can only enter if you have the right vibration, and if you don't, apparently you die. So I'm sure that they're very concerned over this, because the potential for even the possibility of what it might be called an ascension gate is very great for this place. And so this is why they're persecuting yoga.
To suppress any kind of information like that, which has efficiency, because you see, they don't try to suppress fitness, they don't try to suppress all kinds of things similar to yoga, but everything which has a spiritual touch, which has ascendant orientation,
yes,
suddenly find itself in the blacklist.
And I have a theory that is because I have been to Egypt many times, and I've noticed that they will not let us do yoga or meditate in the sacred places, in the temples in Egypt.
Yeah.
They have been banning us for meditating there, and it's the same premise. They are afraid of what is going to happen when groups of people get together to meditate in one place, in one of these power places, which what happens in a power place when you meditate is it accentuates and augments the power of your meditation, as well as the link up between you and whatever you're attempting to connect with, etc., etc. And the potential is very great for transformation on the planet, as well as for your own transformation.
Well, in this respect, I can tell you a direct first-hand experience in Egypt with our teacher in 1999. Now that you open the subject, which gives a very good confirmation of what you just said now. If you allow me, I can give you 2 minutes.
Yes, please do.
Yeah. So we decided to go in 1999, just before year 2000, this celebration where also it was a concert with Jean-Michel Jarre at the great Giza Plateau. So we were there in December 1999, sorry, and there we applied to do a special meditation in the Great Pyramid, in the sacred chamber there. And in the beginning, of course, we met a lot of resistance, and exactly as you mentioned there. And I went with a colleague of mine to speak with the person who is the chief archaeologist in that area. And this person, who is the one who always represents Egypt in Discovery Channel and so on, is the voice there.
Yes, well, he's been thrown in jail since then, but his name is Zahi Hawass.
Zahi Hawass, yes. And with him, I was talking at that time, and I think he just mistaken me with someone else. He took me in a meeting in a hotel just next to the Great Pyramid. It's a very luxurious hotel there. It was a meeting of some people from an occult organization, and they were planning to put on top of the Great Pyramid in the night of year between 1999 and 2000, simultaneous with a ritual which was supposed to take place in the pyramid, to put the capstone of the pyramid with a great eye on it. And his expression when he presented that was, in conclusion, in this way the world, even without knowing, they will see who are the rulers.
Very interesting.
I have it on audio because I have the inspiration to start a recorder while he was presented that.
Okay,
And,
very good.
And this after this meeting, he was even explaining the two methods they were choosing. They were saying that it will be 10 minutes of attention from all the media in the world, exactly 10 minutes before 12 o'clock Egyptian time. And they will, in those 10 minutes, put this capstone made of gold and crystals and so on. And they have two choices. They said they will bring a huge helicopter to bring it in one piece, or they will have special teams to assemble it, to carry it up on their shoulders and in pieces and assemble it quickly on top of the pyramid when all the televisions will switch to Egypt. And as a candy to cover all this, they were arranging this concert of Jean-Michel Jarre to take place right in front of the pyramids.
Okay.
Because in this way, the ritual they were having inside will be kind of going unnoticed.
I see.
And the interesting story was that we found out about this situation by this amazing synchronicity that I was mistaken with someone else and I was taken into this meeting. And Mr. Hawass even saluted me in the end and let me, he drive me with the car samples. And even though I never met him before, so it's very interesting.
That's
and
funny.
then, of course, we were talking about this also with our teacher, with Grig, and he said, why don't we start to meditate so that the things will be harmonious in this passing time of between 1999 and 2000, exactly in that half an hour. Well, he gave this signal, and I think there were thousands and thousands of people who were meditating at that hour. Fact is that half an hour before 12 o'clock, suddenly, even against the meteorologic prediction, it started a sandstorm. People who were watching the Jean-Michel Jarre concert, they knew that, they saw that. It started a sandstorm which almost stopped the concert. But because these guys chose to use the big helicopter to put the capstone, they couldn't do it because the helicopter couldn't take off. So the moment was lost from this perspective. Now, of course, I'm not saying that that meditation determined completely this chain of events, but of course, some people could connect the dots, and of course, that make Grigorian Divolaro even more unwanted somehow by some.
I see. Yes, absolutely. Well, that's fascinating. Well, I'm going to be in Egypt on December 21st, 2012 with a group, and we are going to meditate in the area of the pyramid and go into the pyramid the day before. And there are many people, many groups that will be there then as well. I'm sure that they will possibly have some plans as well to try to do something of this nature then.
Yes.
That's very interesting. Well, to get back to the persecution of the yoga school, is there anything else that you want to tell me about what's going on with that situation at this time? And is there anything that people can do who are listening to this broadcast, if I put it on my my YouTube channel, as well as put it, announce it on my website, and you are welcome to also do the same with yours. Is there anything that you want people to do to help protect the yoga organization or the practice of yoga?
We can put pressure on the authorities. If they have friends which are working for European authorities, to at least persuade them to look into the facts, because once these things are coming out in open, it's very difficult for the authorities in Romania to continue this insane race, because they will not have any reason. And then, of course, I don't think they will go like the communist regime just to arrest people and that's it. They will be a little more cautious with these things. So just to raise the attention to, for instance, we made this website of Gregorian Bivolaru. It's in English and there are a lot of updates there. I also have a blog. There are a lot of people who are taking attitude. So the more this pressure upon these authorities in Romania, through European authorities, this what we found the most efficient until now, or internationally, things will start to hopefully become normal.
Okay, that's very good. Now, is there anything else that you have heard about this, I don't even know what to call it, this time machine that they discovered in the mountains of Romania? Have you heard any news? Have they told the people about it? Is this generally known in Romania?
Yeah. What I can tell you a recent situation. There was a TV program in one of the national channels in Romania, who is dealing with all kinds of unusual phenomena, or not necessarily paranormal, everything which is out of common, so to speak. And they tried to investigate, and they even sent a crew there who was taking very significant interviews with people, locals from the area. And the broadcast was interrupted, and they were threatened. The team was threatened. They even say it on air next time that they were threatened, and then the show was suspended.
Oh.
So,
What it was about people local to this area of the mountains. Is that right?
Yeah, they were trying to start from the book, this book from Radu Cinamar, and then they were following different leads, so to speak. So they went in the area. They were talking with the mayor of the city nearby, for instance, and even the mayor was saying about the presence of unknown soldiers and things like this, which are, well, clear proofs. And for instance, earthquakes, that it's completely abnormal in that area, in this mountain area, and strange sounds from underground as drilling and all kinds of things. I mean, they got out a lot of interesting facts in this program, which was live. And then suddenly they were threatened to immediately stop everything. And in the end, actually, they didn't go on air. So.
Okay. Now, you say you have been to this mountain, but I assume that you have not been able to go inside it, right?
No. What I saw there, I saw, for instance, people appearing out of nowhere. Not only me, we were more witnessing people appearing and just going away practically out of nowhere in a barren area, an area where really you cannot just appear. You can see people from great distance because there are no trees. It's above the tree line, so yes. It's easy to spot a person approaching. And suddenly we saw people 50 meters from us approaching without any explanation where they came from. And when we tried to speak with them and follow them, they just went away running and disappeared just like that.
Okay.
So I've seen this kind of things exactly in the area where this location of this underground tunnels and all this is happening. Plus also some other phenomena which I have witnessed exactly in the Sphinx area, where I at least once a year go to meditate, and I go with some friends there. So we know very well the area, but and even particularly in 2003, I was speaking with some shepherds, which were spending most of their time in that area, who were telling us, before we have heard about this news, exactly these stories that people came in, they locked a certain area completely out of visitors, and nobody was allowed. Helicopters with no flag or no sign on it, coming in and out very often from there, and all these things which then I heard it from other sources. But this I encountered directly in the area. But
Okay, but you're saying this, you encountered these people talking about this in 2003?
Yeah, the first signs of this was in 2003. First
Wow,
signs of activity.
I see. That's interesting. So,
It,
now, has I don't know this because I'm still just learning about this. I've just started, I'm halfway through the book.
yeah,
But I am going to be having Peter Moon on my radio show um, in the not too distant future, and I've done a live stream with him and so on. But I was wondering whether or not there has been any announcement in the world about this other than
no,
his book.
not as far as I know. There was no announcement, and even in Romania, even though there were a lot of voices asking questions and so on, they were always ignored. I mean, not even decent denial, so to speak, if a denial can be decent, but a decent denial. They were just ignoring everything constantly, even though there are very powerful forces protecting. I personally, for instance, encountered the following event. I was searching for this, a network of underground tunnels which exist in Romania. There are pictures and people who have been into, and I also found some. And then I was approached by somebody from the Secret Service and being told to stop immediately if I want to leave.
Oh, really?
Yeah, well, this is not the first time I encountered this. In 1996, I had a car accident, which was after 2 weeks when I was threatened to death by same people. And
Okay, but why were you threatened back then?
because I started to, I was involved in a party. We were offered as an organization the position of a council to be the secretary of or counselor of a parliamentarian. And I was the one designated by the yoga school to go there to represent. And when I was there, I saw a lot of people going somehow on the back with all kind of plans, and they were using these Masonic signals with each other, all kind of things. And I started to speak open in the meetings there about these things, to say, guys, if you have something to share, share with everyone. You don't have to. And I was showing these things to my colleagues, which were, well, not accustomed to these kind of things. And for a while, these people were a little bit angry with me, and they were just, saying small things at the corners. One day, one of them approached me more firm, and he said, look, soon you will be given a lesson if you don't stop completely with your so-called revelations. Because I was talking with the president of that party and with other people, showing them that how they infiltrate the party and all these things, because I have proofs. I saw them doing, and also I have documents. They were sending all kind of letters to each other, which I interfere with, and so on. So in the end, they threatened me with that. I have to admit, I didn't take it very serious. And 2 weeks after, I had a car accident. I was almost killed, and the police started an investigation because my tire was carefully cut, so that it was apparently an explosion of the tire, but it was this tubeless, and it cannot have explosion.
Ah.
They started an investigation. They even showed me the cuts and so on, and then the police officer who started the file, he was moved to another city, and everything was ending there.
I see. Okay, so, but as far as what is going on with this discovery, you say that it hasn't gone anywhere. It hasn't been put out in your public. Is that correct?
No, it hasn't been, and it's guarded heavily. As I said, every time you put anything in this area or something, suddenly you are suggested to take distance.
Okay, what about your teacher? Did he ever have encounters with this machine, or whatever you want to call it?
Well, I spoke with him about this. He was talking about it long before everything came out. This is something it is one of his mysteries. He was talking about this kind of the existence of such devices and so on. And well, I thought he was just talking from intuition, or well, some things. And then, well, I heard and I read and I encountered all these things, and I started to realize that he might have been, at least through remote viewing, seeing these things, at least like this.
Okay.
And I can tell you from experience, because I'm making experiments with this remote viewing and astral projection. I tried together with a friend of mine to investigate there, and we have been stricken by an energetic field very powerful.
Yes.
And well, but that's just maybe we were not skillful enough.
Okay, well, that's very, very interesting. Do you happen to know who this person is? First of all, Simar.
Radu Sinamar, yeah.
Sinamar. Yes, have you met him?
Well, I know who he is, but I saw that he chose not to appear publicly, and I have a reserve to speak more about his identity.
I see. Okay, well, that's fine. What about this person who he was contacted by, this person who was inside this organization X, which is sort of this top secret, in a way, a think tank in the Western world. I think we'd call it something like a think tank. Anyway, and his name was Caesar, according to the book, but I think this is not his real name. Had you ever heard of this man or heard rumors about this man?
Well, what I heard is of the existence of such an organization and of the existence of a person very influential and very with a lot of knowledge about this occult happenings in Romania, who is well walking around there. And I know from a friend who worked in a certain department in the Secret Service, who told me about the fact that he was in a mission to survey this person. But I don't know if it was exactly the same person, but from the description I can connect that it could be the same, because he was talking about a person who was from this zero or in contact with the zero department, and that he was playing an important role in some international events, and it is highly possible that it is about the same person.
I see. Do you have?
I guess it.
If you're in Romania, do you have the means by which to contact people? Like, could you, if you want to, can you try to reach these people? Well, Sinamar, Radu.
I guess, yeah. I don't know. Now I am in Copenhagen, but
How
in
about
Romania, it's, I guess I don't know. I don't keep a close contact with these people.
I understand. What about a person named Colonel Abadia in the military? Have you heard of him?
No, I didn't investigate in this way.
I see. Did you read this book?
Yeah, of course.
Yes? Okay, well, he's written about in the book. He is a friend of, supposedly a friend of Caesar's.
Yeah, but I didn't have time to go into this details. I understand. For me, the book was perfectly genuine, because, as I said, I have my own, let's say, experiences in this, and even indirect confirmation. So that's why I didn't consider it important for me to dig into this more, especially that my preoccupation is different.
Okay, well, like I said, I think that there is I don't know if you've heard, but 2012, there is a great deal of energy coming into the planet at this time. I think that the authorities are very concerned with consciousness and the levels of consciousness of people around the world. And this is part of the reason they are trying to interfere with your organization, I'm sure. And
We have I can tell you something very interesting also, another dot to connect in this respect, if you allow me.
Yes, please.
Hello?
Go ahead.
Yeah, I can hear. I think it was 2003, we made an experiment. Actually, we were conducting this kind of experiments every year, but in 2003 was together with this Global Consciousness Project. Maybe you heard about this, the Global Consciousness Project, which is having these random generators across the world that are recording different patterns.
Yes.
They can detect anomalies in the pattern of randomization exactly before important events will happen.
That's correct, yes.
Good. And at the moment when we did a special experiment with approximately 8,000 people meditating with a special technique, being arranged in a spiral shape and so on, these detectors almost all over the world experienced an anomaly in the randomization. And it is recorded on their webpage there, and it was a very interesting fact because it was a human-generated effect on purpose.
Yes.
This, from my research, is almost unique. Normally, these are things which are perceived and interpreted afterwards. For instance, they even detect events like the tsunami in Asia and other things, but they don't know what it is. They just detect an anomaly,
yes.
And then they say, wow, it was because of that. It was because of this event and so on. But now we did it somehow on purpose, using the technique and not using millions of people. There were only 8,000 people who were tuning in, but this was generating an immense wave of synchronized energy. And of course, that for some people who want to oppress that becomes very boring.
Yes, absolutely. Well, there is definitely something up with this discovery in the mountains of Romania. And I believe that it is going to be affecting, and already is affecting, consciousness on the planet. The fact that they discovered it, the fact that it's been activated, and also the one in Iraq, it's linked to the one in Iraq. And that there may well be some other ones that they have yet to discover. Perhaps they have discovered and we don't know about them in other countries around the world.
Yes, there is a network of tunnels which is unknown. At least nobody knows who built them, which is, at least in Europe, you can find it in major cities all over.
Yes.
And for sure, there are many other things there to be discovered. But again, if you go there and you try to explore these tunnels, you will not be allowed.
Right. Absolutely. Okay. Well,
no, we tried. It's not.
I understand. I do understand. Now, would you? Do you think that this is enough information, or should we get Ramona on back on the line because she was dropped off? Do you think that she would have anything to add to this, or would she prefer that this be enough?
I think she's online. I see her.
Yes, I am now.
Oh, great. Okay, Ramona, that's lovely. So would you have something to add to this?
There's a lot to add, but I mean, you're just like you say, an iceberg, and you just look at the tip of the iceberg with this. I mean, it's really complex on the subject. I mean, also about Romania, there are some prophecies by Sundar Singh. Did you hear about this?
I don't know. Why don't you tell me about it?
Mihai, help me. Mihai?
Sorry? Yes?
You have to say something about the prophecies from Sundar Singh about Romania. Has a role.
Yeah. So that direction is complex. Yes, there are some prophecies made by an Indian who was actually becoming Christian, and because of having some visions of Christ, and then he wrote a lot of very known and revered works on Christianity. And when he visited Europe, he visited also Romania. And suddenly he had some visions there, and he was writing a very interesting prophecy about kind of a spiritual revolution which will begin in the future in time in Romania. And the fact that there will be discoveries which will revolutionize the planet, and all very interesting points. And we actually translated those prophecies and published them because they were circulating during the communist time in a kind of copy by hand, because people were not allowed to
I
speak
see.
about it.
And does the prophecies have a name or anything?
Well, Sundar Singh is the Indian. I will write it here.
Okay, so people, if they're interested to investigate further, they can do so. All right, well, that's very interesting. Sundar Singh, I see the name here. And then as far as you said, let's see, that there is more information. Is there more information about this story in terms of the persecution of yoga in either Romania or other countries that you know about specifically? Or is there more information that you wish to give about, for example, the Romanian Sphinx or device that was discovered?
Well, for instance, I want to say that this phenomenon which we encountered in Romania about the persecution of a yoga school is not singular. There are other organizations which have experienced the same thing, not in Romania. For instance, there is an organization in Poland which was dealing with yoga and had exactly the same treatment from the authorities. The only problem was that they were destroyed completely.
Oh.
There's no organization. From an organization of, I don't know, 20, 30,000 of people, they just vanished in thin air, being attacked heavily by the authorities. And in exactly the same manner, with the same kind of accusations, with the same kind of brutality from the authorities and the media in the same time. And the only problem was that they were dealing with a spirituality which was transforming. We have encountered the same with the Danish school. The Danish yoga school have encountered attacks from the media sometimes, even though Denmark is a relaxed country, but the relaxation in a way is the relaxation of a regime which is already controlling very well the situation.
Oh, yes, very much so. I have heard stories about this.
Yeah, they're very, very well relaxed because of controlling very well the situation.
It is, I think, asleep is a little more to the point.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we have encountered exactly the same phenomenon here. If you go within the frame that is designed for you, you are fine. If you touch the limit, then you are retaliated with great power. And we have encountered that. Media on top of us, strange accusations, all kind of extraordinary strange things on us. And then in the end, for them to say, well, it seems we didn't check the sources. I don't think so.
Okay. Now, if any other countries where the yoga, where yoga or spiritual disciplines are being that you know about that are related to your organization or something like that?
Well, I know, for instance, in France, they have a heavy, let's say, resistance against anything which is spiritual. And I have in my possession a document which was circulating through this Minister of Internal Affairs of different European countries, but it was issued by France, a document how to deal with spiritual organizations. It was a kind of manual. And in this, there was point by point, and I have to tell you, it was matching everything we have encountered. For instance, discrediting the leaders, accusing them of, and there were even suggested subjects, sexual things, money laundering. They were suggesting subjects which are recommended to use to discredit the leaders. Then they were discrediting the organization, insinuation to the media. All the things were very well, let's say, explained there as a manual to deal with organizations.
Okay.
Yeah, and it happened that we have such a document. And yeah, I was even showing this document to some officials afterwards, people who I kind of realized that they are innocent, they don't realize what's going on behind the curtain, and everybody was shocked. Unfortunately, the censorship is very strong, and the self-censorship is now, I would say, more strong than ever, and simply people refuse to believe. They say, well, sorry, but if I believe this, it means everything I believed in the last 45 years was wrong, and I cannot afford that.
I see.
It is almost quotation from such a person. So
Yes.
It is like this. So in France, it is like this. Unfortunately, we have encountered the same kind of experiences also in Italy.
Okay, and what about Germany and Switzerland?
Well, in Switzerland, I don't know what is the situation. I didn't hear anything, but I also don't know if they have anything. Mm-hmm. In Germany, I know that there is a big battle between the different spiritual schools and so on, who are trying to kind of put the things more legal, more in order, like to force the government to acknowledge different disciplines and, well, to be less vulnerable in this way. Our school, because we also have a school in Germany, have encountered some resistance, but not as heavy as in other places.
I see.
So it could be that there are more people who are awake and also on the side of the power, and they keep a balance.
Okay.
It could.
All right. Well, at this time, I guess we will close this down. We've been going for a while, and it's been a lot of good, very good information, and I appreciate both of you coming on this show today. And this is a completely impromptu get together. We just connected and decided to do it, and on the spur of the moment, and here we are. So I will thank you for coming on with me, and this is Project Camelot, and we will put this out there on the web and see what we get in return. Hopefully there will be a raising of awareness about these very important subjects, and specifically to do with what organizations such as yours are encountering at this time, where consciousness is raising around the planet and people are discovering new aspects of themselves and ways to raise their vibration, et cetera, et cetera. So good luck with what you are doing, and feel free to contact me in the future. I don't know if you're in touch with your teacher, but if he has some stories and you would like to share them, he's welcome to come and talk with us as well.
I already informed him about this, and he's open, and well, we have to see the technical part, because as for the moment, he was threatened several times that he will be killed, and even the Swedish police now has under investigation a lot of letters of threat on his life. So for this reason, he is a little bit more remote, so he doesn't interact so much with the exterior, for reasons which I hope people will understand. But yeah, we will try to arrange this, because it could be done by internet or some.
Yes. Well, if there's also any more information about this very interesting device that has been discovered in the Romanian mountains, and or the people that are connected with it, I would appreciate it if you would contact me and let me know.
Yeah, I think Ramona is very good in this, and I hope she will make this link, maybe even with the author and other people.
Okay, that would be great.
Wow, I'll try. I don't promise, but who knows?
Okay, that's very, very good. All right, thank you very much, and have a good night, okay?
Thank you. Thank you, you too.
Okay,
Thank
bye-bye.
you so much, Carrie. Hope to talk to you soon.
Okay,
All right,
bye-bye.
thank you. Bye.